What's that, Skip? Shauno's talking about Supercoach again. Let's go. G'day crew, it's Shauno again, and I'm back with some more Supercoach content. Today we're going to be doing our Round 17 review video, where I go through my team, what I think about my trades for this week, and also what I think about my vice captain and captain choices. So let's get on with it. Before we do, if you'd like to subscribe, that'd be great. We're trying to get up to 300 subscribers before the end of the AFL season, and if you like the video, please give me a like and leave a comment down below. Okay, so we scored 2,274 this week, which is a pretty average score considering some of the top teams scored around 2,700. There was a bit of carnage with Bailey Smith and Whitfield being out, which I have both, so I wasn't expecting a great score, but kind of hoped I might do a little bit better than this. So that round ranked 35,000, down 15,000 from last week. And all those spots that we gained last week, all those green arrows that we're really happy to see, we've got red arrows again, down 848 places. So season rank 10,931, going in the wrong direction. So not super happy with that. We did win both of our leagues, and I think we won 3 out of 4 in our draft. So we're happy there, but we kind of wish that we could just get some of our primos to score a little bit better. So let's go in and see how the team actually did, who the performers were and who the disappointments were. So, okay, in the old back line, Wanganeen Malera, 155. He's been an absolute saviour since I got him in. What a legend. Got him in nice and cheap at just over 500,000, and he's now smashing out huge scores every week with 155 this week. Seemed to play in every position, played back, then went to mid. He did a bit of forward the week before, so good to see that he can seem to score pretty well no matter what position he's in. Zorko 100, well, he cracked 3 figures just. Wasn't looking great there for a while, but happy that he got to 3 figures. Bailey Dale, oh my God. God help us. They couldn't decide whether they wanted to play him. Did they want to play him in the back line? Did they want to play him in the mids? Did they want to play him in the forwards? He was all over the place. So we need to say a prayer to the Supercoach gods that he gets put back in that back line where he should be. Whitfield didn't play. Sinclair 72. It's been really disappointing, especially because I almost paid 600k for him. Not too sure what's going on with him, but he's just not getting those same scores as he was before. Callum Mills 107. Told you he'd be back. 50 last week, 1 back to 100 this week. A lot of people were panicking and talking about whether he was a bad pick and they should be selling him again. I think he's definitely a hold, and he's going to be good going through the season. He might give us a few low scores, but I think he's going to be around that 90 to 110 mark most of the time. Well, I'm hoping that anyway. And we had Clark come on and give his 61 for Lockie Whitfield. So not bad for Clark. 61, we'll take that for a bit of bench cover. Not too bad. We had Sherry as our vice captain. I've already kind of changed this a little bit. And then we were going to go Gawn into captain. So Dacos got a 127. Very nice. Butters 113. We'll take that. Very nice. Bont is back with a 133. He seems to be going 61, 120 plus every second week. So nice to see him get a 133. Rao 97, a little bit down this week. Brayshaw cracked 3 figures this week, which we'll be happy with. Didn't look like it could have been a disaster halfway through the game, but he managed to score a little bit at the end, which is kind of the story a little bit of my team this week. A lot of players looked a bit average for the first half of the game and then managed to scrape some points in at the end to almost get hundreds. Cadwell was a little bit injured in the last quarter, otherwise he probably would have got an easy 100. That's going to be one to watch for us to see how it goes. Apparently it's an ankle injury, I believe, so hopefully if he's out it's not for long. Otherwise we might have to think about doing a trade if it's going to be for more than a couple of weeks. Sheasel a 94. I mean, in that current position he's playing, I guess we have to take the 94 and be happy with it. Doherty got me an 80, which again, he looked like I think he was on very close to 50 or 60 at halftime. He was going along very nicely and then kind of just put on the brakes. But that's all he's there for. Every time he gets me more than 80, I prefer close to 100, but more than 80 is fine. Plus, he got DPP status this week. He can now be used in defence, which might help me out come to the end run of the season when it comes to coverage. All right, we had Gawn and Sherry as a rucks. Gawn, big letdown, 79. Plummeted in price, like almost 50k. And so a little bit of a worry there. I thought he would have a decent game, even though Riley O'Brien is quite a restrictive ruck. He's done well against him in the past, and I thought he'd be a reasonably safe captain choice. Thankfully, we took Sherry's 126. We took it, and again, this was a little bit unlucky too. We were really tossing up between me going Bont or Sherry for our vice captain. Now we went against the masses. The masses went Bont, and we went Sherry, and he was looking very good. He was looking like he was going to beat Bont's score easily, and he was going to get a 150 plus, and then he got that injury in the last quarter where he was pretty much punched in the head. Right in his, right in the old helmet, the rubber helmet he had on. Looks like a closed fist to the helmet, which sent him straight to the ground. They say they don't think he's got concussion. He passed a concussion on the day, but it was near the end of the match, so they pretty much missed the last half of the last quarter. Otherwise, this score could have been much better. Hopefully, he comes back this week. They're the two injury worries I've got this week, is the Cadwell and the Cherry. Hopefully, they're both okay. It wasn't a great start to the Supercoach out of the buys. The Supercoach, a real, if you want to call it, real season starts again out of the buys with two of my primos not playing, with the other primo being Bailey Smith, who was a late withdrawal. Good old Brad Scott does it every time. Knew it was coming, and he, thank God I had a little bit of coverage, which was the Sims, but he only got 32. So I guess it's better than nothing. Better than my poor league opponent that had two people not play and ended up with a 0 on his field. So I feel very sorry for Dan out there, who I was playing against this week. Got kind of shafted by the late withdrawal of Bailey Smith. Petrarca 79. It was looking okay in the first quarter and then just seemed to do nothing for the last three quarters. Darcy 73. I mean, we would like more, but he is a key forward. We're going to have to expect these scores. Rankin 131 seems like an awesome score, and is an awesome score, but he kicked 5 goals to get it, and I was a bit worried about him in the first quarter too. He was like on a very low score, and then he only had 6 possessions and 3 of them were goals, so he really pumped up this score in the second half of the match. It was looking like he was just going to be one of these days where I think like Darcy scored 4 goals for his 73, and it looked like Rankin was going to do the same. So it's nice to see he actually pushed through and got a 130, even though it still worries me a little bit about his CBA attendance and how he's going to go on scoring for the rest of the season. Warner got us 95, which we're kind of expecting. Again, he started off quite slow and managed to crawl his way up to a reasonable score. Daniel 79, we kind of expect a little bit more out of him these days, so a little bit down for him. And Tom McCarthy, he was also looked like he was struggling to get a decent score and managed to scrape an 82, which is, for a 99k player, we'll take that every day of the week. He seemed to not get as many kick-ins as he normally did. I watched this game reasonably closely, and he wasn't quite as clean as he has been the first 2 games. So I think he can bounce back to higher than that, but I guess anything more than 80, we should be pretty happy with that. We missed Johnson here on the bench, 2 goals to 79. We didn't play him on the field. We tried to get him into flex somehow, but it just wasn't possible. So, So not a great start coming out of the buys with 2 primos out. Hopefully they'll be back this week. So if we set up the team, Whitfield's back in the team, and Bailey Smith is hopefully playing again this week. They said it's illness. They didn't say it's injury. They said it's illness for him, where Whitfield, concussion. We know he's had a history of some concussions, but hopefully this extra week gives him enough time to come back and play. So if we're going to give the King and the Joker to the team like we usually do. I think the king is pretty obvious this week. Some weeks we struggle to pick it, but this week it's going to Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira. What a legend. St Kilda seem to look for him whenever they have the ball, smashing 155, and I don't know if I've given him the king yet, but he certainly deserves to be the king of the team this week. Not just a great performance this week, but a great performance over several weeks. So for the Joker, who gets the Joker this week? I'd like to give it to Brad Scott for being a knob and just doing the late out. So that everyone knows he's going to be out. Just rule him out. Just rule him out. Just don't put him in the teams. You know you're not going to play him. Just don't put him in the teams. Let's give it... we'll go for Wanganeen-Malira's teammate. We'll go for Sinclair with a 72. Like, come on, Sinclair. We paid almost 600k for you, and now you're less than 500k. So, I mean, if you're looking for a trade-in bargain, he's definitely a bargain. Whether you're going to trust him to get some back to that form where he gets some decent scores, we'll have to see, I guess. So, this week... trading, I don't really want to trade. I've only got 4 trades. But if I'm forced to trade, so I think Bailey Smith will be back. The only reason I can see that I'm probably going to trade would be if Cadwell is ruled out for several weeks. He's gone for scans on his ankle. So if they say he's going to be more than 2 or 3 weeks, I might do a trade. And that's a shame because he's actually been one of my better performing midfielders over the last, since we brought him in. It's gone up, 50, at least 80,000 from what I paid for him. So he's done really well for me and he's been performing really well. I mean, if we have a look at his stats, let's see how he's gone. So I got him in for 440k, and since then he's gone 123, 102, 111, 125, and a 96 where he spent quite a bit of time on the bench in the last quarter. So looking to get another easy 100. So don't really want to trade him, but if they say he's going to be out for like 3 weeks, might have to think about it. And so I've got 2 options, I would think. One option is I trade, and I could always go... We noticed that Zach Merritt was played back in his midfield position. Now, we know they've been throwing him around willy-nilly, as they say, in every position on the field. But if he could stay this position, we could see what his scoring potential is. 159. So we could go straight to him, bidding pretty much for the same money. And if Cadwell is no longer in the team, you would think Merritt would hopefully have to play more midfield time, in theory. Now, I do have another option. That's one option. Now, the other option would provide me with a bit more flexibility in my team, where I would do something along the lines of, say, move a Daniel up there, and I would think about getting maybe a Jack McRae in the forward line. So if the reason, we'll confirm this for the moment, even though it's not set. If you would like to know more about what I'm going to do, keep an eye out for my trade time video, where not only will I go through trades for me, but I'll go through the best ones for you out there in the community, and we can have a bit of a chat about who the best rookies are this week and who the best upgrade primos are. So this way, to me, it's probably offers me a little bit more flexibility. Then I would have a forward and DPP position in the midfield, and I would have a defensive DPP in the midfield. That would mean I could get out of trouble if one of these guys was injured, and I could swap them back, and hopefully Johnson will continue to play and offer me a little bit of coverage on the bench. Because the bench is looking a little bit bare, and I was a bit lucky this week that Sims came in and played, even though he was dropped the week before, so hopefully he holds his position, and Clark and Johnson, and we're hoping that Gray will come back very soon, potentially even this round, even though he probably won't be named, but at least he'll have an option of playing, and hopefully Saad will also come back very soon as well. He was marked as a test, so hopefully he's okay and gets a game soon as well. So that could be my options for the trade this week. At best, I'm only doing that one trade. I would really prefer if these two, the defensive midfielder was in the back line and my forward midfielder was in the forward line, then I'd be able to swap Daniel and Doherty to the backs and the forwards for more of that DPP coverage. But what we could do is, if we get into a disaster, we could always get like a 99k potentially not playing player instead of like a Simpson who swaps with the forward mid, or do something similar in the back, get a 99k player instead of like Gray who goes back mid, and then we can, you know, hopefully have a bit more coverage where if we need to get Doherty back we can, or if we need to get Daniel forward we can. So that's the plan anyway. If they say that Cadwell is only going to be out for like 1 week or maybe 2 weeks max, maybe we just hold him and we put Johnson on the field, and hopefully that goes all right and we don't have any more laid outs or dramas like we did have this week. So I'm hoping that with the 2 primos back we can get a decent score next week. I don't know if we'll be scoring the 2,700. I noticed that team did have a 23rd primo, so this is the people who have played well and traded well and have that 23rd primo really helped them out this just coming week, so the week just gone by. As for captain and vice captain choices, I think it's going to be the vice captain. I think there's one of 2 choices for me. I'll either go the Bont or the Dacos. One or the other. If we look at Bont plays, he plays Adelaide on Saturday morning, and Dacos plays Gold Coast on Friday night. And we know Gold Coast don't really tag. I believe they just played Essendon where they didn't tag Merritt and he got 150 points. So Dacos could go big. Or Bont against Adelaide. Will Adelaide tag him? Not too sure about that, but I think either of those ones are valid options. If we have a look, how's their record against these teams? It's 116, 149 in the last 2 games, so he can go big. Not too sure why the 75 points, that might have been his first season, Dacos. And Bont in his last few games against Adelaide, he's got 119, 112 and 88. So he hasn't gone that well against them. So maybe we'll go Dacos and just go with the history. He has got a big score against them. And then I think the obvious choice for the captain for me is Butters against West Coast. I think Butters is going to tear us a new backside. And if you've got Rosie and not Butters, he might be a sneaky captain option as well, as he might also tear West Coast a new one. So I think they're probably the best choices for me. Like we said, if you want to find out who is the best choices for your team or for the community in general, check me out on that trade time video, which will probably come out tomorrow or the day after. So I think that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so I can get up to those 300 subscribers before the end of the season. Like the video, leave me a comment, and I'll talk to everybody really soon. Hope you all have a great week. I'll speak to you then. Take it away, Skip.